Our body are made up of energy, all energy. That's what runs us. It's what ran my heart, and it's what my heart stopped. I had to get it going again. And what this does is it helps to realign that, because whenever you have a trauma, or it can be any negative emotion, it causes an actual physical reaction in your body. And a lot of times it goes to a cellular level. It gets buried, in other words. And I run into so many people that they've buried stuff for so long that it's finally coming out, and it's starting to show itself in a physical sense. Most all, I believe probably 95% of the physical ailments we have an emotional or a thought-based backing to them. They start with a negative thought or a negative feeling, and over time, when they're buried for a long time, they show themselves in coming out in things like chronic pain, cancers, all different addictions, all of that play out for that. EFT does is it, through physical tapping, I call it vibrational tapping, we realign the energy system. It actually changes the amygdala. It calms the amygdala in the frontal lobe, allowing the body then to release what it needs to release. Sometimes it happens within minutes. Sometimes it takes a little longer. And then there's some quick fixes it does, but it also, in the long term, I feel like it takes and balances a person out. Like even myself, before my heart attack, I had kind of a spiky life. You know, it would be happy and then, you know, sad or angry and then happy, and you had all these little points and, you know, real. Now that I tap every day, that it's been more of a flow. You know, not saying you don't get rid of the bad, and you don't really want to. To me, there's got to be a contrast to be able to understand the good. You got to have some of the negative side of it to be able to understand it. So it's much more of a flow, and I feel like that's what we do I've done for all my clients, is I give them a flow to their life instead of just this jagged edge point. So in doing that, at the same time, we verbalize with it. As we'll see in a few minutes, I'll show you, we're going to kind of play around with it and tap some. But we put words to the tapping. So while we're doing this, we are looking at trying to get to the core of an issue. So if somebody comes in with a self-esteem issue, we try to dig and find out what the message is they're telling themselves. And what I say is it's the message not only they're telling themselves, but the message they're telling themselves, about the issue. So in other words, many times it comes down to messages like I'm not good enough, or the shoulds come out. I should have this and I should have that, or they should have, or I deserve better. There's some deep-rooted messages that we take in, and they become our belief system. And by allowing us to tap and to release those belief systems, we can actually change the system and change how they see the system. Plus, we can also actually relieve physical pain. And I've had quite a few different experiences, from simple opening noses, like nasal, congestion, to physical pains in the neck, the back, because again, a lot of times those are chronic.